Hi there, so this is She-Ra and the Princess of Power, episode 12, Light Hope. And yes, now we get the episode that really dumps all the exposition on the lore, the mysteries, who She-Ra is, and all of that. And yet, like any good exposition episode, where some questions are answered, more questions just pop up. And yeah, I felt a little bit overwhelmed by just so much that happened in this episode, but at the same time I really loved it because I really was so invested into the lore of the show, especially since I could just be wrong on this since I am not an original 80s She-Ra fan, but the impression I always got about the original 80s She-Ra, like I believe I said before, was that it was a very simplistic show that was really selling a lot of characters and as toys. The plot's very simple, the villains very one-note, etc. So with this new She-Ra show, when I started, I had really wondered just how much are they really going to add into it. And from this episode, oh yeah, they really added a lot of tons. Added a lot of tons to this, with so much lore and backstory explaining the mysteries of She-Ra, some of the way that the world of Etheria works, etc. But firstly, one thing I do have to mention that really took me by surprise, and I'm sure took a lot of other people by surprise, especially those who did not watch the original 80s She-Ra, and I was aware of this. Swiftwind came back. I was really wondering where Swiftwind went after the beginning of the show, and he talked. And it was not like, since Swiftwind was this magical creature, you would think that Swiftwind would talk like really mystical or whimsical and all that, but no, Swiftwind talks like an average Joe, and I loved that. It completely went against expectations and just came right the heck out of nowhere. I just absolutely loved that. It really gives this extremely odd disconnect between all of these characters, and then then comes along this mystical horse that talks like your coworker or something like that. So yeah, 2 thumbs up to that, She-Ra and the Princess of Power. Good job continuing what I found out later on was a trend, and what happened in the original show of the original Swiftwind also talking pretty normally as well. So good job there. But yeah, we got a lot of mysteries answered here on specifically who She-Ra is. And that really surprised me because from the way that this show does it, She-Ra is this mythical figure that is reincarnated through time and is embodied, and its spirit is embodied with somebody. Right now it's Adora. So that really got me thinking. So they're going with the idea that She-Ra is like Link from The Legend of Zelda, where there are multiple Links throughout each era, which explains why there are so many games but one Link. They're actually different Links. Or it's like Avatar, where the Avatar is reincarnated through different lifetimes. So yeah, that fascinated me. And what really helped with that is the revelation that the random nonsense that was given in episode 3 from the old lady Raz. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but old lady Raz in that episode is really babbling on about how Adora was not this Mara person. And you would think that, oh, this old kooky crazy lady is just spouting random nonsense. And then you wonder, if that would even come up. So I definitely didn't expect that this Mara was actually the previous She-Ra, but she apparently did something terrible, giving in to her base emotions or turning on everybody. I can't quite remember the details because there's just so much, but again, that really fascinates me because now we have this new mystery on what exactly Mara did, who she was, how was she as a previous She-Ra. And I will not be surprised if a later season will give an episode on that, because if there's one thing that I applaud the show for, it's for playing the long game on all of these mysteries, on who the characters are, the world building and all of that. If Noel Stevenson and any of the other writers planned this ahead of time, then good job on them. They definitely got me super invested into the show. And what I especially liked is that, sorry for that, what I especially loved is how it's not just Adora that gets exposition. Catra gets exposition as well, because she gives Entrapta some First One's tech, and Entrapta is able to explain what's going on to Catra as well. The explanation of the rune stones, how each of the elemental princesses like Perfuma, Mermista, Frosta, how they had all of these special magical artifacts that granted them these fabulous secret powers and all of that. And how this crystal that Shadow Weaver was using was actually a rune stone as well, the Black Garnet, and how it used to be the rune stone of Scorpia before she joined the Horde along with her kingdom. And all of this culminates in what I was hoping would happen ever since it was revealed that Shadow Weaver was abusing Catra in one way or another. Catra and Shadow Weaver fighting, and Catra overcoming and usurping Shadow Weaver from her position. Shadow Weaver is out, and seeing Catra live up to her boast from the previous episode on being better than Adora, being better without her, and learning everything from Shadow Weaver to overcome her, that was just so satisfying, and I loved it. Now, what really again got me was last episode's message of letting go, and what I feel to be the Star Trek message that was given by Spock. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. How Adora is so wrapped up in trying to save her friends and the rebellion and everybody that the First One's hologram, called Light Hope, is telling her that no, She-Ra does not serve one person, is not friends to a group, or anything like that. She-Ra is supposed to be a general protector of the planet, and how she needs to be detached from everything, and how she really needs to let go of all of this stuff. And in typical stories like that, it's not so simple to let go of one's friendships, attachments, and emotions, especially considering that Mara, the previous She-Ra, fell to that. It's no wonder that Adora is so conflicted by everything that happens here. Yeah, so all in all, I just absolutely loved this episode. I may be getting ahead of myself, but this probably, again, might, between last episode and this one, these two might be my favorite episodes of the season. And this all serves to give us a really big conclusion that I hope will play out in next episode, the final one of season 1. So that's it for me. So I'll be seeing you guys next time for episode 13 and the final episode of season 1 of She-Ra and the Princess of Power. See you around.